this room. Big dog.
We are back. We are back.
Hold on, Paul. Hold on, Paul. Hold on. You're frozen, dude.
Am I really? Am I frozen?
You're frozen. I will not let that stand this interview or this show.
Wow. Let me refresh. All
right. Well, Paul works that out. I know there's probably only like 2 people watching right now, but I want to confirm.
Am I frozen?
No.
Am I frozen?
Move around. No, you're good.
I'm good? Okay.
You're good. Yeah, it looks good too. The camera looks good. It looks like a good setup. Looks pro, man, actually. I think this might be the best we've ever looked.
Yeah, I think so. It's been a while, so it's been
4 I know,
weeks.
Man. Well, a lot's going on. A lot has transpired.
Yeah. Do you want to share the news from your side, the personal news, or no?
Dude, I had a son. I had my 3rd child.
Right.
So shout out to the family, who's probably the main 3 viewers right now.
We got 9 right now. We are 9 viewers.
9, yeah. No, man, everything's good. Reed Jr. We're still figuring out what to call him. But that's his legal name. So that's cool.
Why don't you just call him Reed Jr.?
I mean, I guess we could, but I like giving nicknames, and so we're gonna figure one out, but we're not gonna force it either. They've already got some nicknames for him at the house, so we'll see what sticks though long term.
Please advise.
Do you think it's too much to be wearing double please advise right now?
No, not at all. I think.
I like how one's upside down and one's up. People always ask me why is this one upside down. It's like because I like to look down and it's right side up for me.
Yeah, I think it looks good. You're looking good, Reed. But yeah, I mean, it's been a while since we did this live show. Today we have a special surprise guest that's coming on here in 30 minutes. That one's gonna be a fun one. I'm really looking forward to our interview.
Yeah, man, unprecedented. We've got this access for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And then we have Robert Miller from Exhibit A. Robert Miller, I've known him when he was back at Verified Carrier, and now he's on doing some new things with Exhibit A. So we're gonna have Robert Miller on, and then we're having Andrew Leto, who is the founder, was the founder of Global Trans. And I know you've hung out with him a little bit. I've talked to him in the past at Manifest a few years ago for like a short period of time. And now he's the founder of Emerge. So he's a big dog, probably one of the bigger dogs we're having on Freight Gong Friday.
Yeah, he's that'll be good. We've not had him on. But he's an interesting dude, and he's got some unique perspectives. So, and he's done a lot. So yeah, it's good, man. What's going on? I've been kind of under a rock the last couple weeks.
You've been under a rock, but you've also gone viral on X twice. So I think we should discuss that a little bit. Maybe we pull that up here. I'm gonna pull up your LinkedIn or your Twitter account. I hope I don't freeze when I do this. Let me know if I freeze.
Yeah.
But okay, let's share Reed's Twitter account. He's now up to 7.7 thousand followers on Twitter. And he's gone viral. You've gone viral a few times. You've had a few viral tweets. Yeah. And I mean, this one is, I guess, one from April 1st. This was really cool. You took a photo while flying across the country. This is in Mississippi, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And you basically put some AI container ships on it. And I'm actually curious, why don't we ship like container ships on the Mississippi?
Well, one, it's not deep enough. So that boat could never that it's not deep enough. And people in the comments on that are like, "Yo, there's no aircraft carriers like on the Mississippi." I'm just like, "Yeah, dog, I know." There's also a bunch of locks. There's a series of locks. If you look at the actual map of the Mississippi,
Yeah.
if you look at an actual map of the Mississippi, I mean, there's a bunch of locks and stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't think they could support. But there's still countries that do containers on smaller like barge type ships and stuff. But it's only it's a handful of containers. I
Sure.
believe they do that in like in Europe, like in the Netherlands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um,
It's probably
um,
shorter distance too.
but I mean, I think one thing people don't actually think about ever. One, people don't think about like how awesome the highway system is and like what how it enables our entire civilization over here to exist, essentially. But two, the river system. Like the U.S. has like the best river system in the world, and it's a national treasure. You know what I mean? It's like
Sure.
it's a geographic advantage on top of the many other geographic advantages that the United States has, from a logistics and a geopolitical standpoint. I mean, dude, look, you can, and what this map doesn't show either is the Mississippi is connected to the Great Lakes by the Illinois and what's the other river? It connects to the Des Plaines.
Superior? Oh, sorry.
No,
River
no.
Des Plaines. Not bad. Yeah, Des Plaines, yeah.
Yeah, so like the Chicago River connects to the Mississippi, which connects the Great Lakes to the Mississippi, which essentially connects it to the Gulf of Mexico, or the Gulf of America. Excuse me, Gulf of America. So yeah, man. But you know what's actually a tidbit that I learned on Twitter the other day that was actually pretty interesting. There's a port in Lewiston, Idaho. So the Columbia River in the top left up there, that connects to the Pacific. That goes all the way to Idaho. It might be the Snake River. Yeah, because the Snake joins the Columbia.
Yeah.
But look at that. Like, pull up some pictures. Pull up some pictures of that. Yeah. So there's like there's that port right there in Idaho connects to the Pacific, which is like pretty cool actually.
I wonder who does the logistics of that. Like, how do we talk to someone that does that, those kind of logistics?
I don't know, but that's the person I want to talk to. There is actually a couple barge operators that I follow on X. I should DM some of them and see if we can't just get a live guest from a barge, like a barge pilot.
I think that would be awesome. Here, I'm gonna pull it up on Google Maps here real quick. So, all right, this is the port of Lewiston.
And hit us with that satellite.
I had a satellite. Okay, where's the satellite? Here it is. Okay. No,
yeah, dude. So check that out.
So this connects it with the Pacific. Okay, so this river right here, it just what gets technically shipped there? Do you know like what it is?
It's probably just like bulk, commodities and stuff like that. I mean, zoom in and look at the port. It's probably crops and yeah, I mean, I bet you a lot of the crops that export out of the Pacific Northwest, maybe they start there. I don't know, and they go down the river. I'm gonna ask you right now.
I'm asking right now.
Oh, you beat me from the port of Lewiston. I bet you it's much more outbound than it is inbound, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see where it's going to pull this info, like what it's going to.
PortofLewiston.com, Art Military, Marine Link, UNESCO, the Freight.net. What the hell is the Freight.net?
Dude, the Freight. Hold on.
It's on a website.
Ag. Yeah, so what's cool about that river actually is, I mean, the Snake River, I think starts like it doesn't start in Yellowstone. It goes through like Jackson Hole, Wyoming. All right, what do we got here?
All right, so
export gateway, yeah.
Wheat and barley. lumber, wood chips. It's all bulk.
I wonder, like, we should ask a follow-up question to have it rank by volume the largest inland ports in the US, and see how this one stacks up, if it's even on the list. Like,
Ranked by volume, the largest inland
ports in the US, yeah.
in the US. And
I bet you
would this be an inland water port? Do we want to put inland water port? Because I think just if you put inland port, it might be also.
sure, do it.
Like, if I was a freight broker right now, I might go down like this rabbit hole of like trying to figure out how to like be a freight forwarder with the Port of Lewiston or something like that. I don't know.
Dude, there was a time, there was probably like a 2-year period when I was working at Echo where I was just like, dude, I just want to go work in boats. I want to do boat, like, just, I want to be talking about like cargoes and like, you know, dealing with Greek ship owners and stuff like that. I really was just, I was all about that.
I feel like dealing with Greek ship owners would be a lot more interesting. Well, I guess we on the U.S. side, we kind of deal with Serbian truck owners, which is kind of similar.
It's essentially actually the same thing.
yeah, in a way. Although, like, I doubt you're double brokering a load with the Greek ship owner. You know,
I don't know, man. But there is a lot of actually similarities. Think about this too. Like in maritime shipping, these boats are all registered, right, with a country, and they have a flag, but they all use this what's called flag of convenience, which is essentially just like countries that have cheap and lenient registration. I'm pretty sure that's why it is. You know, it's like Liberia and the Bahamas and countries like that where a ton of the shipping capacity is registered. So, which is maybe that's not dissimilar to like a bunch of carriers being registered to like a house in Signal Hill, California.
Sure.
No, obviously there's a little difference, but it is interesting. Wow, well, we're really going in depth here.
Yeah, I've been using ChatGPT with the high model just because I think it gives me a lot better information than like instant or medium. And then Pro takes way too long. But this is really going down a rabbit hole of really doing a lot of research. So. Yeah, I guess
I'm good with that.
Yeah. Do you want to look at the newsletter today?
Let's guess. Let's just guess what the number one's going to be real quick. What do you think the number one's going to be?
Water port.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. I can't name any one besides.
I bet you it'll be. My guess is Duluth, Minnesota. That's my guess.
Duluth, Minnesota. Okay, that's right. Because
that's my guess.
Up there. That's a nice one.
I've never been up there, but
it's. There's a really good carrier out of Duluth, or actually no, not out of Duluth. It's right next to Duluth, called Superior, Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Superior truck line, or no, Halver truck line. Sorry,
I see their trucks everywhere. Dude, you know what's funny? You know what's funny about Wisconsin carriers is what I've noticed. You know, living down here in Chattanooga is like when I'm driving on the interstate and I see trucks. And I look at every single company that I drive by. I always notice that like whenever I see a good like a nice trailer that has like good art and like good design, and then a well put together truck that has like, you know, a good logo and good branding, it's like almost always a small to medium sized Wisconsin carrier.
Yeah.
Like
they take care of their stuff.
There's like dozens of these just like what seem to be, obviously they probably are, but I don't know them, so I can't be sure.
Yeah.
Like they seem like they're just dialed in, you know, carriers that just like take care of their equipment and have good looking equipment, which is cool.
They also take care of the brokers. They don't lie. They don't cheat. They have zero freight guards. Like they take care of their customers. I love Wisconsin carriers. Wisconsin carriers were like my favorite, and we had a lot of them because, well, living in Chicago. 294 was all just Wisconsin carriers going up north from Chicago. And so I would literally like outside of my apartment, I would just see like nonstop these carriers.
You'd be scoping carriers?
Oh yeah, all the time. I actually used to love, like I had such a dopamine like hit from finding a carrier on the highway, writing on the MC, and then calling them the next workday. And that was honestly, I think the success rate on that was so high because most of the time, like they needed they worked with brokers. There were obviously instances like if you're a dry van carrier driving down 294, like, and you get a call from an individual saying, "Hey, I saw your truck, and I'm a broker." At least 10 years ago,
Yeah.
like it worked very well, and
Yeah.
I was able to get all these carriers that would like you would never find on DAT because like they
Yeah.
probably had like 8 trucks, and they would post on DAT once in a blue moon, and so you'd have to be really looking around just to find them. So yeah, I mean, it's dude, this this is actually kind of going crazy right now. About
This is going to be the most thorough report on inland port volumes that's ever been generated. You think anyone has asked ChatGPT? Some people have had to have asked this question. There's just no way they haven't.
Should I click answer now?
No, I want to see this. This is like going to be.
It might code a website or something out of this. This is crazy. I'm gonna pull up the newsletter for today.
Do it.
So there was like we were working on a newsletter today, and then all of a sudden I'm like I see this story about like C.H. Robinson being involved in like this verdict, like $604 million verdict against C.H. Robinson and the carrier, and I'm like we have to like change things up. So we have the feature on that. Diesel's going up a lot right now because of the attacks. So the Houthi rebels attacked 2 Saudi oil tankers in the Bab el Mandab Strait, and so like there's the Strait of Hormuz, and then there's another strait that touches like basically it's right across from Africa. I guess it splits. It's a Red Sea. It splits Saudi Arabia with Africa. And so now they're attacking that strait because they've been able to bypass kind of like the Strait of Hormuz being closed with that strait, but now they're being attacked there. So big jump in diesel prices this week. There's a new bill that's going to want to imprison people for staging a crash with a semi or a commercial vehicle for 20 years.
Staging a crash.
Yeah.
Like basically like making it happen. Like insurance fraud, basically. Yeah.
Well, in Louisiana, there was that case from a couple years ago where, like, basically, like they like this attorney was involved in it.
This guy staged 31 tractor trailer crashes. Jesus.
Yeah, selling 17 of them for roughly 1.5 million.
That's crazy.
So stage accidents cost insurers an estimated $20 billion a year nationwide, and commercial trucks are especially attractive targets because they carry far higher coverage limits than passenger vehicles.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's wild.
Knight-Swift's been crushing it. I wonder what Knight-Swift stock is like right now. Let's see Knight-Swift stock.
Look at that intermodal volume. That's crazy.
Dude, year to date, 40%. Man, my year to date stock right now is so bad. I'm actually in the negative because of my.
We honestly need a portfolio like for Freight Gong Friday, and then you should put a portfolio tracker on the website. We need a Freight Gong Friday stock index, which is essentially just like the pool of all the stocks we buy.
I agree, dude. Yeah. Covenant Logistics is up 116%. Dude, since we interviewed the CEO, like anytime we interview a CEO of a publicly traded company, we should just invest in the company, especially if we like them. Like we had a great sit down with the CEO of Covenant Logistics, David Parker, and it's in our second edition of the magazine. And like, honestly, I wish I just put all my money in Covenant Logistics.
We clearly weren't thinking about our portfolios when we were interviewing him. You know what I mean? Which is a problem. That is a problem, a personal problem, really.
Dude, like I'm gonna check right now because I'm in a negative for this year for sure. Like in my portfolio, which is crazy because it's like my first time ever being in a negative, especially since like I for whatever reason last year in December I decided to buy Figma. Because we were using Figma at work. And
yeah, the Figma stock is not doing very well, huh?
So I'm down 3% year to date. 3% on my stock portfolio and the decisions I've made. While Covenant Logistics is up 116%.
How much is the Figma stock down? Because I remember when you
Yeah.
bought that. I remember when we Bob. There we go.
Bob's our surprise guest, by the way.
Hey, special guests. Never
I'm a
before.
surprise guest. That's wonderful. I feel special.
Figma is down 43% since I invested in it. 43%.
Did you buy any SpaceX stock?
No.
I did. I bought one share. I should have
Did
sold
you?
it. 100.
I'm
Yeah.
down 17% on Aurora Innovation stock. So that's actually one stock I decided to buy when it was like going up.
You bought literally all of the worst trucking stocks.
Well, I didn't buy. I bought it at the wrong time.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, timing is important, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, because Aurora year to date, Aurora is up 57%.
Yeah. Yeah. If you bought it when they first launched, it would have been good.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't think when they launched it was that good. Let me just see here real quick. They're down 40% since they launched. Aurora is. Dude, I feel like if we had just invested in logistics stocks this year, we would have done so well. ARK Best is up 103%. Dude, it's actually insane. Let's see JB Hunt. JB Hunt up 47%.
Is this all? I mean, when did the look at the commonalities between when these stocks all took off? Like, I mean, just go 1 year. Go 1 year.
Okay, 1 second here. So it's all.
Yeah, I mean, so
February. Well, actually,
so it's basically like all around the turn of the year, right?
No, well, I think XP is a little bit different. Let me just pull up this here real quick. Well, are they all kind of similar? So like Carib was in May, like early May. So like, honestly, and like I know now that if I invest now, it's all gonna go down. Like,
yeah,
you know?
you gotta be. I mean, they've all already done their runs, I guess, right?
Yeah, let's see CH Robinson. Dude, CH Robinson is okay. Year to date, 25%, but over the year, 100%.
Damn, dude. I remember back in the day, I invested in CH Robinson. Well, I shorted it because I was thinking during COVID that it was going to crash, and then I lost all my money. I was like, nice.
Dude,
Oh, good, Bob.
Yeah, I sold all my stocks like April 2020. All of them. I just
Is that ChatGPT thing done, Paul? What's it look like?
Let's see here. Oh, it's done. All right.
Let's look. Bob, hey, before you show it, Bob. Oh, damn it.
Good.
Okay.
Here.
I didn't see it yet.
All right, Bob. So the question is, what are the largest?
You lost your. I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
You clicked something and I can't hear you.
I could hear you, Reed. Bob, I can hear. Bob, I think it's your problem.
Yo, I can't hear you.
Bob's special guest.
Bob, why are you on your phone? Bob, log off and come back in.
Oh my god. All right. So Bob, can you hear us?
Bob. This always happens to Bob.
I know. He's just gonna sit there and stare at us now. All right, share. Just share it. Right. I know. I could tell that I was already wrong.
Let's see here.
It might not even be the top 10. My guess might not even be.
I don't even know. You what did you say?
I guess Duluth.
Oh, that's right. Duluth. All right. So
there you go. Now I can hear you. That muted me out.
You're back. You're back.
We hear.
What is this?
All right, this is the largest inland ports by volume in the U.S. So, like ports that are on the Great Lakes or on rivers.
River and inland port. So, like a lot of shipping gets done
in Ohio.
Yeah, a lot of shipping gets done on these, but they're mostly like bulk loads, like wheat, barley, lumber.
Damn, dude. Cincinnati, Mid-Valley Port Statistical District.
Ohio,
Huntington. I mean, it's all like the Ohio River, basically.
Yeah.
West Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana is probably the same thing. St. Louis is obviously the Mississippi and the Missouri join there. Yeah, man.
I'm
really
it looks
curious. Like that whole little stretch of Ohio.
It's the Ohio River, man. The Ohio River is dialed in, honestly.
Yeah, it is. All right, I'm
Yeah.
actually really curious, Bob. We gotta ask you some questions. I'm gonna take this off.
So
I'm gonna
what's
put Bob in
new?
the center. Bob, what's the market like right now as a trucking company
I
owner
can't hear
out of
you.
North?
You guys keep. As soon as you click out of that, there we go.
Can you, can you hear us, Bob?
Yeah, now I can.
All right, Bob. What's it like
Let me
being
get
a
a
trucking
monster. One
company
sec.
owner? Bob, we have people listening to us live right now. Like, come on, brother.
I feel like you guys are wide awake, and I'm just awaking right now.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
All right.
All right.
Good.
Answer Paul's question here. All right.
Bob, what's it like being a trucking company owner in North Carolina?
Oh, I
right
can't
now?
hear Paul. I can hear you, but I can't hear Paul.
Bob, this is a you problem, bro. This is
No,
a
for
you
real,
problem.
as soon as Paul switched to that other thing to show me the ports, it literally went silent, so I couldn't hear him.
Maybe you
All
muted
right.
me on the StreamYard or something.
All right, I'll ask him the question. Bob, can you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So what is it like now being a trucking company owner in North Carolina? How's the market treating you? What are you seeing out there?
It's been good. It's been good. Rates are good. Things are good. Can't complain.
Do you have any idea of how much rates are up for you from just as a rough percentage?
I don't know a rough percentage, but I think in general it's just easier to book freight and get it done. I mean, honestly, like so from North Carolina.
Have you guys gotten any crazy loads lately?
I can take a look.
Wait, we got to figure out this
not
audio.
really like
I got to be able to
crazy,
talk to
but
Bob.
I mean, we're hauling stuff for like 8K back from
Tell Bob
Cali
to
to here.
refresh
So.
his
Hey Bob, hey Bob, what are the odds you can join from your computer so Paul can talk to you?
Or just refresh the StreamYard link.
Hold on,
whatever you're in right now.
All right, he's gonna try.
All right.
Is Bob wearing like a leather hat? Looks like he's wearing like a leather hat.
That's like a very, I think, Eastern European thing to do.
Okay. Well, Bob clearly doesn't have a good grasp on his numbers. Okay. Here we go.
Wait, real quick. Aaron Hatfield. Ohio River was the main transportation 18 and 1900s for trade pre-efficient roadways.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, St. Louis, and now out west.
I mean, the Ohio River goes up. I mean, it goes up by Pittsburgh. Okay. Here's Bob. Can you hear us?
Bob, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you guys.
Okay, cool.
It's not me, Paul. It's you, actually.
But you could hear me now, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. That's not a leather hat though, Bob. That's a hat. That's the
Is that a turbo hat?
Turbo hat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Turbo
Shout
hat.
out to Turbo. Great hats. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not verified carriers. Usually, I wear a verified carrier hat, but it's not. I actually have like a whole wall of hats in my office.
Oh, nice.
You don't have my hat up there, dude. That's kind of screwed up.
Dude, I actually the one that I do have, the green one, it's pretty shot now because I work at the warehouse sometimes here, and it's like dirty. So I need another one.
You need another one? Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I like usually like I don't like. I mean, I'll wear it, I'll get it dirty, and then I'll just kind of not throw it out. It just sits somewhere, and then I'll just put a new one on because I have millions of hats. Like I was actually at North Carolina Trucking Association this weekend, and they just they give away a bunch of free stuff. So.
What are your favorite? What did you get? I guess from the North Carolina State Association, whatever trucking conference, if that's what it's called.
North Carolina Trucking Association. Yeah, I got a couple nice hats actually, and then they gave us like a little blanket thing that like for picnics and stuff. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
And then there were just a bunch of different things. It was actually a really good time.
What did you take away from that show?
Honestly, for me, what was huge is I actually like met up with some of my friends there that run trucking companies, and we had like really deep discussions about certain things and hiring processes, and that's kind of what I took away the most from that. Other than that, it was just more like networking and playing golf with my insurance guys and stuff. So that was pretty cool. I actually really enjoyed it. It was a really nice place. We stayed at Omni in Virginia, which is one of the oldest resorts, and they have the oldest golf hole there. It was actually built in 1776. Can you imagine that? That's like
Oh wow.
America, yeah.
Yeah.
Trucking associations have very like swanky events. They go to nice resorts. The owners and the big dogs go and they play golf and they talk about, they sit in smoke filled rooms and talk about freight rates. And
Pretty much.
it's good to hear that Bob's in that upper echelon. You know what I mean?
Actually,
Like fleet
North Carolina is one of like the better states, I guess, for for the trucking association, because we have a really good president. His name is Ben. He's like a young guy, and he's actually like pushing a lot of stuff. Like I think they just canceled the left lane thing. He passed the booting thing where they can't boot trucks here in North Carolina. Like he's actually doing a lot for North Carolina. And there's actually a lot of people that show up, because I heard of other states that are kind of like whack. They don't really do shit. So
I mean, North Carolina is a huge trucking state too. I feel like there's a lot of trucking companies in North Carolina. Actually, I'm kind of curious which states have the most amount of trucking companies, like top 10.
Florida probably.
Texas, Florida,
Yeah, and California for sure.
California.
I think Florida is the number one probably.
Dude, California for sure with all the double brokers.
Well,
Especially-
that's not trucking though.
Well, they open up trucking MCs because they book under the trucking MC and then they sell under the broker MC. So they have both.
Yeah. Maybe.
I'm looking at it right now.
So Bob, so the market's good. Okay, great. Awesome. That's good.
Honestly, finally after what, 3 years of just freaking suffering.
Have you seen the market dip over the last few weeks or no?
So I would say there's harder days and then there's easier days, but overall it's still really good. Yeah. I wouldn't say it dipped, no.
It did not dip. Okay.
Have you guys noticed?
I'm looking at only at like the lanes that we run, and we run kind of North Carolina to California. I'm not really looking at all over the country. So I kind of focus. We got our own thing figured out, and we kind of focus on our own
so that's like, how many trucks are you sending to California? Most of them? Or are you still going a little bit in the Midwest?
No, most of them. I would probably say
cool.
at least 18 trucs that we're sending out.
Yeah. I remember when you first started, you were kind of going all over the place. What did you call it? You had a special word for it. Remember, like, because like David had
the triangle.
David was creating a triangle. But wait, what?
There was like win, and then lose. Like
but I remember you had some like really funny way, like that. It was not like a triangle, but it was something else. And I remember, I forgot what you said, but it was hilarious, like 4 years ago. But okay, I got the top active US DOT numbers if you want to take a look at it.
What is it?
Bob, what do you think is number one? Number one state?
Number one state, I would say California.
Reed?
Texas.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna share the screen now.
Are we both wrong? Oh dang. Okay. Oh right. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
By a lot.
Yeah, by a lot. Yeah, it's like basically double.
I mean, I had those population. I said California, Florida, and Texas.
Yeah, I'm surprised Illinois is like not in the top 10, or it is number 10. Like I would think that it's higher than Minnesota and Wisconsin.
What about North Carolina? That's not even on there.
Yeah. Wow, California has 6 times more registrations than California.
I was at the IRP office yesterday because I just bought a box truck. I'm trying to get into a box trucking game, and there's like nobody at the IRP office. Nobody's registering anything, which is kind of surprising because now that the rates are, I mean, maybe I was just there at that time, but that's pretty wild.
What's got you wanting to get into the box truck game?
Expedited freight and non-domiciled CDLs.
Yeah, that. But then my friend also, he's kind of going out of the business, and he had 16 box trucks, so I'm kind of taking.
You got a good deal.
Yeah, kind of, but yeah.
North Carolina's number 11, just after Illinois, by the way. Sorry for.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, it's big. It's big. Sorry, keep going, but Bob, I interrupted you.
No, you're good. I mean, plus it's something different, so I want to try that out. I'm kind of curious. What do you guys think? Because we were gonna add the box truck to our MC, right, for the trucking, but then it's probably not a good idea. So I'm thinking of opening a different MC. Is that something that will trigger like highway and I guess all the other platforms that I have two MCs, or is that fine to do?
I mean, I think it'll, if you have the same address and like the same contacts associated with the MC, it'll trigger probably like an affiliation. I don't I don't think that that's like necessarily a bad thing per se,
Right.
but it would be, you should consult with an expert, because I'm not an expert.
I mean, you could just ask, I guess, Highway, reach out to Highway, but I would say probably yes. It probably will trigger something.
You know how all this chameleon carriers and all this stuff, why do you have two MCs? But for me, logically thinking, it's not a good idea to put the box truck with the same insurance and the same MC as my semi trucks, because that's completely different drivers, completely different thing that I'm doing. So I'm just wondering, like,
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense to me as well. I mean, I'm sure plenty of carriers do that.
I wish we could like just dial an expert like right now, where we just like have like someone on call. We could just
why
dial
don't you have someone like that?
like
Come on.
it's like that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire show. It's like, Bob, let's
Phone home.
hire an expert and call an expert, and we just like call, like, I don't know, some attorney, and they're just on the call right now. I wish we had some call-ins.
Call Cassandra. Put her on the line.
I actually should call Cassandra.
I don't. My guess is that it's probably it's a fine move, and you can explain the affiliation. Like, it's not like the affiliation flag
Just
is
call it,
there.
like, Bob's Box Truck Company, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like they know that it's like box trucks.
Moon box.
It kind of sounds pretty lame, to be honest. You know.
Well,
Who are the biggest?
Call it like Star Express or something instead of that. We'll have
Moonbox Express.
Moonbox, or let's see here. What would be
How did you come up with the name Moon Express, Bob?
He's going to the moon.
Yeah, is that it?
We're going to be the first carrier to send the shipment to the moon. Yeah. Once we buy the Tesla trucks.
Do the Tesla trucks get like a free ride on the Starship or whatever?
Yes.
My dude, we had a guy on our field team who like drives our vans around going to locations. We had a guy down in McAllen the other day, and I was talking to him on a call, and I was like, dude, you should go. He was like not far from Starbase, where they launched the Starship. And so he drove by it, and he ended up, they were moving one of like the boosters on those big like cars that move the rocket around. And he was like parked right next to it. They like came right by him. And so he got a bunch of cool pictures and videos and stuff. I mean, that rocket, dude, I want to go and see one of those rockets launch. I really want to go see one, because that thing is gigantic.
Oh yeah, that thing is massive.
I mean, they probably could. I don't know what logistically they'd have to do to ship a truck to the moon or a trailer. But I mean, the payload could support it.
Gravity, and get rid of gravity in order to do that.
Get rid of gravity? Yeah.
I'll figure out where it's like gravity doesn't exist, because I feel like it's way too heavy, even on a spaceship. Or the big one.
All right. Well, maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see a Moon Express truck on the moon. It can ship. The Starship's payload is 100 to 150 metric tons. So that's plenty. That's plenty for one of your truck, like a fully loaded tractor trailer. I mean, that's plenty.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't be a problem, actually.
I got some questions about your operations, Bob, if I may. All right. How has AI been so far over the last few months? Have you seen AI getting better or worse?
No, we don't use AI for anything, to be honest. I mean, I use ChatGPT to ask questions and stuff like that, but we don't really implement.
What about the phone calls? What about the AI phone calls?
Yeah. How do you feel about them?
I don't feel like we've really gotten that many AI lately. And if we have, we just kind of hang up, to be honest, at this point.
The market's kind of, I think, a little bit tough to just have outbound AI calls, right?
Exactly. Like now I feel like carriers are just demanding what they want in a way. And it's kind of a good feeling in a way. I've had a friend who wanted to sell his trucking company.
You like telling the AIs to kick rocks?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait, there's actually one video I saw on Instagram this week. I'm gonna see if I could find it. But
if the AI, I mean, if the AI, if it became clear to you that talking to and dealing with the AI bot gave you good freight, like you actually got good loads, would you do it?
Yeah, we would.
all right, you guys want to watch this video on Instagram
Yeah.
about it with the dispatcher talking to AI? All right.
Yeah.
Have you seen this, Bob?
No, I've been slacking.
Feelings.
Jamie, can I get your MC number?
Jamie, where are you from?
I'm based in the Midwest. Now let's get back on track. Can I grab that MC number from you?
Oh, straight for business. Okay.
Yep, all business. Let's lock it in.
You know, I guess I wasn't prepared for how good you actually sound. Are you AI or?
I'm an automated system here to help you out with your load. Let's go ahead and grab that MC number when you're ready.
If I
Dude.
book the load, can I call you back anytime I want? Just to hear your sweet voice?
I'm here to help you move freight, partner. Let's focus on locking in this load first.
You know, I came for the load, but honestly, I think we got a connection.
Let's keep it professional and on task here. I need that MC number to get this rolling.
Should get it serious.
In love.
Yeah. Let's stay
I wonder,
focused on the job.
is this
I need
costing
that
the
MC number to
company
move forward.
money?
What's the MC
You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
is the brokerage
sure
that
is.
he's called, like, is that getting billed to them because he's like sitting there trying to ask the AI out?
I mean,
Like,
it's
I'm
probably
wondering.
not that much, but like if he did this like thousands of times, I'm sure there would be like some form of like notice that like, hey, this is actually racking up some kind of cost. But like, I think right now AI is still pretty cheap. So
I mean, I asked Bob if it gave him good freight, would he use it? Like, I mean, I feel like the answer is probably yes, but
It's a race to the
like-
bottom with AI. I feel like, right? Because I feel like they can. I don't know.
there's use cases for AI in freight, and I think like for those use cases, like you got to use it. But then there's like so much stuff that like actual humans have to do that like it's difficult for me to see like a foreseeable future.
Well, if you think about the adoption, right? Like the brokers, like they have an incentive to adopt it. But one question will always, it takes two to tango, right? And the question is always going to be like, is our carriers and drivers going to play ball and like actually interact with these systems? And and that's a challenge that the AI companies like have to deal with, obviously, because if these customers are buying these systems and the carriers all, hang up, then and obviously they do more than call, but it is an interesting problem that they're going to have to figure out. There's got to be, I bet you there is a carrier out there who's just like, I'd give me all the AI calls because I like know how to play the game with them. You know what I mean? I bet you there is somebody out there like that.
I don't think so, because honestly, like Uber, right? I would say Uber is pretty big, AI/technology, like everything was booking online. And now we found a rep there, and we always call the rep, and we always get better deals with the rep than if we were just to book it straight from the board.
Yeah, because a human could be more flexible. AI is just like, hey, AI, you can't go over $1,200. You call a human, and a human knows like this load's been
And
sitting
human
for like.
will reach out to the manager or whoever is
Yeah,
in place,
exactly.
like, hey, I got a great carrier. They did this and this. Can you do a couple $100 more? And usually he'll get that. Honestly, the only sucky part is like someone will go in there and swoop in and just book you for whatever it's posting on the board. So.
Yeah, I mean, but all like what you just described, I'm going to take this to my manager. I'm going to this carrier, like, let's approve this rate. They do a good job. Like, that's all. That decision they make is all based around just the context that you have with that company. You know what I mean? And the relationship you have with that rep. So there's no reason why like an automated system couldn't make the same decision. They just don't let it. You know what I mean? They just don't let it make that decision right now. But the automated system could easily be like, okay, I see Moon Express has done 50 loads for us this year, and there's been no issues on them. Like, therefore I should pay them more. Like, it could make that decision based on the information. Like, for the same reason those guys make the decision to pay you more, on their own. It could do that. It just doesn't right now.
Yeah, that's true. Are you guys using AI for a truck parking club?
I mean, we use it obviously a lot internally for development and for data analysis, and I use it a lot for like building documents and marketing collateral and stuff like that.
But you don't use it to like do outbound calls and like look for properties or any of that stuff?
No, I mean, no, not really. It's I don't know how many of these systems are really about outbound cold calling. You know what I mean? Like I don't. Have you? Do you guys get many? Do you get any kind of just like out of the blue calls from these asking about like if you could take a load? Maybe you don't even have a posted truck. Like, has that ever happened?
If I get any what outbound, if I have a
Like, do you guys ever get calls that are from AI that aren't about like a posted truck?
No, honestly, right now it's more calls actually from reps, like asking if we have trucks in a certain area. Do you have any trucks available in this and this? I'm like, no. What about next week? I'm like, I don't know. You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of what it is now.
Yeah, it's it's actually interesting. I do feel like a cool survey would be like just amongst the trucking population, what truck drivers use AI for, if anything. There's got to be some truckers out there that have some cool stuff they do. You know what I mean? There has to be. I'm not sure what it would be, but I'm sure there are.
Dude, honestly, no joke. I have a driver that built me like a website to report brokers, and then he built me a website to like scan in PODs, and then it will actually do like a driver statement and everything with AI. And then, dude, he's very talented, and he just drives and like builds all this crap. Actually, I'll share you, Paul. I'll share you the thing that he built. I want you to check it out and see what you think about it. But it's actually really cool.
That
you
is
told me
cool.
about that last time.
Huh?
I think you told me about that last time.
Yeah. Ivan, let me see. 114.
The truck driver vibe coding truck drivers.
It's called searchfreightbroker.com. Check it out.
Searchfreightbroker.com.
He deployed it. It's live.
That's actually a good domain. I'm gonna share the screen here real quick. Let's see here.
I haven't really looked at it yet, to be honest. So let's see.
Check the broker before you book. I'm gonna show my 8932. This is a broker I used to work for. Let's see here. No, never mind. What? No, it's USDOT. It should be an MC number. How do you? Wait, this is. Oh. Let's see here. Everest Transport.
I haven't tested it out. I'm actually curious if it works or not.
SFB, Search Freight Broker. Okay. No published carrier reviews yet. View carrier review profile. Review carefully. Bond or trust filing is not confirmed. Review the supporting evidence before booking.
This is, I mean, there's
Damn.
carrier. I mean, would there actually be like Bob? Would you look at a broker review site?
I think so. Yeah. Especially like right now, you kind of want to know if the broker is good or not and the reviews about it, right? Like if they're lying or not. And in this market, because right now, if you have a truck sitting for a day and they lied about pickups or something like that, then you're losing a lot of money.
There's a Moon Express in Georgia. His name is Buddy Moon.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah. That's by design.
This is brokers. This is brokers. Sorry.
Yeah, he literally built this as just kind of when he has free time on the road.
There should be like a community.
Because it's firebaseapp.com. See, I don't know the difference because he built on some kind of a.
This is good though. You should promote this.
Yeah, I mean, once it's done.
Before you book carrier desk. So like I just say, I don't know, I'll put Uber Freight. I mean, first like promote it, see if anyone's interested in it.
Dude, Bob's going to be a tech. Bob's going to be a.
Tech
He's
bro.
going to have an AI company before we know it.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll raise a couple $1 million.
Yeah, it might be a little different raising capital for an AI company versus a trucking company.
Oh, for sure.
You should make your box truck company like AI enabled.
There's a calculator here too. Look at this. Oh wow. Estimated profit. This actually is super useful, I feel like.
Wait, what is estimate? I'm confused. Where'd you find
So
that?
like it asked me for some information and I put it in and it kind of calculated my estimated profit.
Damn, dude, you're going to make 80% margin working with Uber Freight. That's huge, man.
9.62 all in RPM. Break even rate 2,000 basically. Wow.
What load is this?
It's a load I made up. So you just put offered rate. Like this is cool. Offered rate, loaded miles, that had miles, fuel price, fuel economy, non-fuel cost.
Damn, dude.
Honestly, just having this kind of tool would be kind of useful.
Vetting tools, warnings. Yeah, I got to talk to him. I just haven't had time to like. He's been like, "Yo, did you check it out?" I'm like, not yet. I've been kind of busy, but
Bob's too busy going to the Omni in the mountains of Virginia and playing golf with other fleet owners.
I actually played golf with the NFL player, like an ex-NFL player,
Oh, wow.
Raymond Harris. He was actually like in my scramble group.
That's cool.
Yeah, no time for AI here. Rob. Oh, there we go. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh,
How you doing?
I was actually looking up who Raymond Harris was. I'm a big NFL guy.
Who is
Oh, yeah.
that? Is he a fleet owner, Bob?
No, he's just a speaker now. He does the motivational speaker. He goes to not to all of them, but he goes to a lot of associations, like trucking associations, I believe.
Seems like he's like the almost Super Bowl winner.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Green Bay 98, Broncos 2000. Almost.
Yeah, he played for a few different teams. I think he played for Patriots too, right?
Yeah, in 2000 says.
Yeah. And then they hired Tom Brady and they cut him, I think, or something like that.
God, I hate when that happens.
Right?
Rob, what's going on with you, dude?
You know, just hanging out. Lovely Friday in Jacksonville. So how about you guys?
Well, Reed's not too far. I guess Reed and Bob are not too far from you.
Where are you guys at?
I'm on the other side of Georgia from you. I'm not terribly close, but I guess I'm not very terribly far. No, I'm up in near Chattanooga in Ringgold, Georgia right now. Yeah. So literally on the other side of Georgia.
And
yeah.
Bob, you've met Robert, right? We hung out at I think we hung out
at yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You were working for Verified, no?
In San Antonio or
San Antonio, yeah.
Yeah, you were with Verified at that time, no?
Yep.
Yeah, that's how I remember you.
What do you got going on now, Rob?
Well, we got Exhibit A. So
all right, tell us about it. Let's go.
I'm gonna pull up the website
against liability.
So here, I'm gonna pull up the website. I think it's Exhibit.
Here goes Paul. Paul, you're frozen, bro.
Mic check.
Paul, anytime Paul tries to share his screen, his whole setup crashes. But that's cool. So, all right. So you kind of cut out there for a second, Rob. Tell us about Exhibit A. What do you do?
So what we do is we started out as once the Montgomery decision came out, we were like, okay, documentation is going to be a big thing. And coming from the VC world or verified carrier world, having cargo theft, we talked to a bunch of different betting platforms or worked with different betting platforms and kind of understood what they were doing, but nobody was essentially documenting. I booked ABC Trucking. This is what I saw. Now they're kind of coming out with that. Some of the betting platforms say, hey, we do have an audit trail for you. So we have an audit trail that's timestamped, cryptography stamped as well. We can also do it as a multi-platform aggregator. So say you use 3 or 4 different betting platforms, we can do it all at once. So again, I booked ABC Trucking at 9:55 a.m. on 7/24. This is what I was privy to see. But after talking to a bunch of different insurance companies and freight brokerages, what we realized too is not only is that going to be big, but also understanding your SOPs. So if you looked at all the different, like you guys probably watched a bunch of different webinars, saw everything that was going on. They were like, document the process and document how you chose to book that carrier. So what we switched over to is we still do the audit trail as the finale, but also it's understanding your SOP and showcasing that you followed every step of your SOP along the way that you booked the carrier.
And that's all just to have the paper trail so that if something happens, you can a broker who is potentially liable for fraud, negligently hiring, can point to this and be like, no, we ran through our process and here's proof, essentially.
Exactly. And the other thing we heard from different insurance providers is the litigation was going to go from, say, like 1 in 70 to 1 in 15. And as you saw in the Montgomery, it started in 2021. That's 5 years of you drawing out the litigation, going through deposition, going through discovery. Whereas you have everything in a documented form, you can say, okay, hey, here it is. This is what we were able to see. This is the process that the guy ran. Do you guys have any questions? Because it's pretty black and white at that point.
So that 1 in 15 stat. So like that. So basically, the idea is that because of this decision, there's going to be way more cases brought against brokers, obviously.
Yeah.
And like, have we seen any signs of that so far? Like, are you hearing anything about more activity in that domain?
One of the brokers we spoke with actually said that he knows of one of the weeks that he knew of 3 people that actually had accidents right after the Montgomery decision. I haven't seen any official lawsuits come out, but they do take a bit of time as well.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they just came out today, the news that C.H. Robinson's getting hit with that $600 million verdict from 2021, so 5 years ago.
That's the Montgomery one.
No, I don't think this is the Montgomery.
It's not?
Is it?
Different. It's different.
It was a different one?
Yeah, it's a different one. Here, I can pull it up. We just had it in the newsletter. So,
and
Dallas
I saw that
yeah.
they like CH was only held liable for like 23% of the verdict.
Yeah.
But what I saw like with FreightWaves came out and said is they still might be only held for 23%, but because they have the most amount of money to pay out of the 604, they're going to be held to pay out the most amount of money essentially.
Well, like what I've learned is that like a lot of the times, like trucking companies, when they have like a verdict that's, let's just say a nuclear verdict, like their insurance will pay out, maybe like $1 million, whatever their policy was, and then like they don't have the rest, so like the money's not going to be like just created out of thin air. The company goes bankrupt, and so let's just say like whoever was like the victim of it receives $1 million, and that's it. Even though like they were the court, sided with them, and like was it might have been like a $10 million like verdict. They only get $1 million, and it's like basically impossible to get the other $9 million.
That's interesting, but I mean, if you're a big broker like CH,
exactly, you have the money.
You have a lot of money, and we heard that a lot of these larger brokerages, they insure essentially up to almost $200 million, and they take bits and pieces. Yeah, so they're taking bits and pieces of it. So you might not say like they might self-insure up to a certain point. They might have different insurance providers pool to leverage that.
But like what? So like they self-insure, but like because I'm like thinking like which insurance company would give them a $200 million policy? Like I don't think any none. Yeah, so they self-insure. But like, doesn't self-insure mean they pay it out if like anyway? Like,
they do, but then they could say, hey, I'll cover up for the first 25 million. After 25 million, maybe I'll get another insurance provider. They're covered 25 to 50 million, and then kind of piece.
Yeah, they piece it together.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. I could imagine that like insurance companies are like interested in working with Exhibit A from the angle that like they want, if they're insuring a broker, they want the broker to follow a specific process from booking a load, because that it's always makes it safer in court that the insurance company won't have to pay out, because there was a specific process followed.
And also to understand, are they actually following their process every time? So what we do is we track that, and we can give you a self-report and say, okay, well, Paul and Bob and Reed are doing an amazing job, but Rob's always missing this step, and this is really vital to our booking process. So we will actually give you a weekly, daily report of who's doing the best in your company, but also an escalation point. We can't stop you from booking the load because God forbid something were to happen, but we can allow you to escalate and get a notification where it's like, okay, well, Rob missed checking the FMCSA, and this is a vital instance. So I need to get on to him right away and potentially stop that booking to prevent something from happening. So we'll let the managers know that. And then it gives you kind of like a holistic picture of what your operations is looking like. A lot of these brokerages, one of them we talked to had 40 plus different offices. How do I know what's going on in each office?
Yeah. Must be really difficult to handle. I'm curious, Bob, have you ever had a court case or like an accident where like they basically sued Moon Express?
No, I don't think so. Not yet. Thank God. I think that we have been sued, but through the insurance, so insurance would just pay out whatever it is, but not
It was like a
us.
small
Yeah.
loss. Huh.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I saw the one
like-
was like how quickly, from a trucking standpoint, I think one of the webinars, or maybe it was like on a Freightways or something, the guy was like, we try to settle as quickly as possible if we know we were in the wrong, so to mitigate the damages of going through litigation and creating a bigger verdict. So
I
that's
mean,
the other-
but if somebody has this data, right, and they know that they follow their SOPs, something happens, they have reason to believe that they're covered or that they're not liable. Like, is that going to, even if they know that, going through the process to prove it and getting the court decision and all that stuff, like is still going to cost them money, I guess, but are they still going to go through that? Or do you think that data is going to prevent that from ever happening?
We hope it prevents that from ever happening, but it also gives you different angles as well. So like if you know that, okay, I booked a carrier and I missed a step and it went through and then he went and killed a family or something, I know that I should probably settle very quickly because I know that it could be a bad verdict. But on the same time, if I can't settle and they want to push me to go to court, I have an audit trail of say this was just a one-off for me. It was a hot load. I was trying to book him. I have 20 other instances that you could pull up of me following all the documentation. And then you can also say, well, we reprimanded Rob and we actually talked him through like, hey, you need to follow this. And we had something that showcased it. So we weren't negligent in saying like, oh, well, he can kind of keep doing this, whatever. We've taken actions to help them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wondering because like you guys moved really fast with the project. Like May 14th was when Montgomery and Creed was like first announced by the Supreme Court, and I think you launched like quite quickly afterwards. Kind of thinking about like the thought process there. Were you anticipating like just an opportunity here to there's obviously now like brokers are kind of worried about this. Like what does that look like? Kind of walk us through like what your mindset was when you heard the announcement and like how did the idea come about?
Well, it was basically on the audit trail side of everybody saying, hey, you need to document, because essentially people had articles written right after the Montgomery decision showed up. And so we were like, okay, if documenting is such a big thing, who is actually doing this? Being a past broker myself, I didn't know we had any documentation. And if you're running a small compliance team, they're probably onboarding a carrier and then maybe looking back every now and then, unless they get a notification. And if you have 10,000, 15, 20,000 plus carriers that are active, you're probably getting bombarded with different notifications. So we want to make sure that, if you're going through the booking process, instead of you asking the compliance team or taking a screenshot every time you book a carrier, that you have a tool that would allow you to do that at scale.
Makes sense. And since we have Bob here, like I'm like thinking about carriers right now too. Like Bob, how do you like protect yourself? Like, do you have like any kind of like compliance structure or somewhere like to I don't know, limit the liability of having a driver cause an accident?
Well, the most important thing is like training them, right? And every time like we have some Sarah cameras, every time something does happen, like some kind of event pops up, harsh braking, harsh churn, we get these notifications from Samsara. We literally reach out to the drivers and talk to them every time there's a violation, every time there's some kind of a minor even incident or they get any tickets or something like that. We have training and we talk to them and we emphasize how important safety is. So that's a huge thing, is actually like starting, even when we go through like a hiring process, like we literally tell them, hey, safety is very, very important because it's a huge thing. So yeah, that's kind of how we do it.
Sure.
And I think about too a lot for the carrier side. Like if you're a 5-truck fleet and you go and one of your carriers or one of your drivers gets in an accident, now you're at a 20% accident rate, or you have one bad driver that just ramps up your vehicle maintenance issues. How do I help as a carrier to say you can still use me even though this is happening? Like what steps am I going to take? So I've been thinking about that recently on like a carrier side, because not you might hire one bad driver and he could completely ruin your score.
Right.
Or like
not even bad drivers. Sometimes certain things happen where it's an accident. Like I have a friend that literally is shutting down his box trucking company because he had a driver that was driving for 5 years, 0 incidents, 0 accidents, anything. And then it was at night, it was raining, he missed the stop sign, and then I think he crashed, and then there was
Yeah, I mean, all it takes is one thing to happen, and it's oftentimes not within your control. It's
right.
It's like the audit trail, and the audit trail I feel like is much more like the Samsara thing that Bob has that tracks like what goes on and like what's happening. It's kind of like the source of truth for all those events. Like that's kind of the audit trail version for Bob, kind of like how you are for the broker, right? And yeah, so it is. I mean, looking back, like the audit trail. I mean, so is the audit trail picked up by just a user's activity within the vetting platforms? Like, is it like just naturally caught where like, okay, I'm going to highway, like I'm doing a search, like that's all recorded and like just passively, so that at the end of the day, like when the load's done, you have like the full history of all of the tools that were used to vet the load, like, and that's just all there.
We can also use browser extensions as well. We're unable to get API capabilities.
You can just watch the screen basically and see what they do.
Yeah, exactly. But and we can allow it to just do certain websites too. So, if you're out there prospecting or looking at personal stuff, we don't want to be Big Brother or like the flock camera.
Yeah.
We just want to watch you if you're on like the vetting platforms. Just say, okay, I went to FMCSA, I went to look at their SMS scores. This is what I saw. I went through that process. On the other side too, it's all about understanding, are you also using your technology too? So we can do SOPs on, are you tracking? Are you calling the carriers? Are you anything and everything? So I think that's another play of like, so I bought a new technology. Am I actually using it? And can I implement it into my SOP process, or where would this fit? And then on the other side, you look at like everything's going to become new in AI these days. How can I give this to an AI company to help me build agents or help me build out my processes?
Is that where we're going?
Yeah.
We're going to have AI agents build out the processes?
Well, I think the AI agents are going to run a lot of the process. I mean, you're already seeing that with some of the companies out there now. But I think on the other side, what we think too is, how do you audit the AI? How do you make sure, like, okay, say somebody AI books a carrier and they get in an accident. Now who's at fault? Did you actually were you making sure the AI was abiding by, every...
Wouldn't you ask the agent to in its prompt, it would say like maintain full audit of like decision flow and data and I mean I feel like that's probably what you would hope, I guess. But I'm curious from like an SOP standpoint, like are you seeing that lots of brokers are like kind of scrambling to beef up their SOP? Like are people just kind of like trying to get better at recording it? Like what change has happened as a result of the decision, right, within the brokerages? Like, what are they doing?
What we've heard is that different, like the brokers are reaching out to their lawyers and their insurance providers to say, you kind of tell us what we need to do for our SOP.
Uh-huh.
And everybody's had an SOP, especially with like the cargo theft, like you could say epidemic that's been going on. But it's just like, hey, here's a piece of paper. This is my SOP. Insurance company goes, okay, great, check in the box. We want to make sure that you're following it every step of the way. But now it's kind of getting to the point where like this worked before, we could get the check in the box, but now we need to have legal precedent. So they're going to their general counsel, they're going to their insurance providers, they're going to other outside lawyers if they don't have any inside to kind of dictate what should this SOP look like. I also think it's kind of crazy what that verdict that just came down, because C.H. Robinson ruled that it was a satisfactory carrier and that didn't really matter. So how does that fix on your SOP?
Here we go. I'm gonna pull it up right here. Yeah, so C.H. Robinson strongly disagreed with the verdict and said it will immediately appeal. Chief Legal Officer Dorothy Capers said Lupus Superior had safely completed nearly 270 loads for the company and held a satisfactory FMCSA rating when it was selected. That rating remained satisfactory after a federal review of the crash. Yeah, I mean, I mean, these attorneys that are, I guess, what is it, plaintiff attorneys that are going after these brokerages. I mean, they're ruthless. You see all the billboards, the semi billboards, and I know that like a lot of companies go out of business because of it. Like a lot of trucking companies. And in our latest edition of the magazine that's being shipped today, we actually write about that. But what C.H. Robinson also called on Congress and federal regulators to establish clear lines of responsibility across the transportation industry, arguing that the extreme nature of the verdict makes federal action more urgent. So, yeah, I mean, it's honestly crazy. I feel like you never really know, but there's gonna be a bunch of appeals here. Like this. I know C.H. Robinson.
What was the nature of the crash? What did the driver do? Like, what happened?
So C.H. Robinson brokered the Arizona beverages loaded Lupus Superior while traveling through Mississippi. Driver Gorgonio Gonzalez plowed into stop traffic, triggering a fiery 6-vehicle pileup. Gonzalez was also killed.
Was it like a mechanical issue? Was he asleep? Like, how did that? I'm wondering how that happened. Like, was moving a load and was subject to the broker's control over the details of the job. The finding could support treating. Scroll down a little bit. Finding could support treating the driver as an agent of the broker for liability, despite the fact. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, so the carrier was satisfactory and had hauled a bunch of loads. So essentially, they're saying we did everything we could. This is a legitimate carrier that was that we had worked with many times, and how could we have possibly have vetted them out? Basically, is the argument.
It's 23%. I'm just going to pull up what the number is. $140 million is essentially what they're basically the verdict is telling them they should be liable for. $140 million.
But they're charging 45% of the driver, and unfortunately, the driver was killed. So how is he going to pay out his 45%? I feel like, does that become a waterfall effect where it's like, okay, now Lupus and C.H. Robinson take on more of the percentages, or is it just kind of go as a wash?
I'm wondering how much profit C.H. Robinson made last year. I'm gonna check right now.
What do you want to figure out if they can pay $140 million? I like, does that? Yeah. That's kind of nuts. I mean, one interesting thing that people were saying after the ruling was like, what effect is this going to have on the ship, kind of the allocation of freight shippers make, like the decision they make? Like, are shippers going to be more wanting to go with large brokers because they're like, they have more dialed in processes and they're bigger and they're less risk, versus giving freight to a smaller broker that might be more likely to be at fault, I guess, because they have poorer processes, perhaps. Does that make sense, Rob?
Yeah.
What is this?
Go ahead. No, so C.H. Robinson made $587 million in net profit in 2025, up 26% from 2024, which is quite a big jump. And net
profit margin was 3.6%. Interesting. Yeah. That's pretty low, man. I thought brokers were making like 70% margin on every load. That doesn't seem right. What was I saying? I actually don't know if what I was saying makes any sense, but I feel like a lot of it has died down though, like recently, Like I haven't personally seen. I mean, I've also been spending less time on LinkedIn. I know like a lot of attorneys are more involved, and this is kind of more like, like I would imagine a lot of CEOs and executives are, trying to figure out the processes and stuff. But it seems like from like, I don't know, like there was a huge deal being made when it came out in May, and now all of a sudden, like there's just like people are still waiting, anticipating to kind of see what actually happens because of it. And then in this case today, for example, with C.H. Robinson, is another example of that being played out, especially since it's a satisfactory carrier. But there's so many appeals it's going to take time before like a final decision is made. I mean, Rob, what like, what do you guys like? How are you going about selling this? Like, what is like the simple pitch to a broker of why they need something like this? What you're providing?
The bigger pitch is more mainly through the insurance companies of like understanding you're assured
Sure.
and having a better, do I understand my process? Because not only does it go into the liability sense, but it also goes into the cargo sense too. Because like if you have a claim, hey, you can say, okay, this is what I did. Did I miss something? What should I have seen where they cause theft? But we're going to brokers and saying, understand your processes. And, brokers are kind of in limbo too, because we're hearing on both sides, like, we need to understand what is actually going to come out of this. And now, like, here's another lawsuit that's going to come out. So a few of them said the first 5 are really going to dictate where the market goes. And I think it'll be interesting too. I know TIA is doing a lot, and I think they were just announced yesterday that they were, at Congress or talking to somebody in DC about like, hey, what should we do about this? We kind of can't keep rolling, and
they want clarity from the government for like, hey, these are the standards that you need to vet against, essentially, right? And that clarity is going to prevent all the lawsuits, ideally, right? Like, well, I mean, it makes sense why they would want that, and it makes sense, perhaps why the government should issue that. I mean, if you're going to be saying carriers are satisfactory and that doesn't actually mean something at the end of the day, then like, or it doesn't mean enough to prevent stuff like that from happening, then that's a problem.
Yeah, because then what is enough? Like, how many vetting tools do I need to have? What specific thing in the vetting tool do I need to look at? What's going to be the difference maker?
What's Chris saying here?
Advocacy update. The TI government affairs team has been very active on Capitol Hill in the past few weeks. There's a lot of noise going on in Congress right now, and the TI government affairs team is cutting through that noise and talking about important issues like cargo theft. The Corca bill, we're working to have that included into the National Defense Authorization Act. That's an extremely important piece of legislation. We recently met with a number of offices yesterday who are very receptive, very supportive of this. This is an issue that's really gaining a lot of traction, which is extremely important. It impacts everybody in the supply chain. You can have your voice heard on this issue and all the issues impacting the industry.
What is the Corca bill?
By joining us in the policy forum in September.
Can somebody help me? Oh, got it.
More like the cargo theft side is what the Corca is.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't. These guys, Corca, yeah.
I think they're trying to get it so that there's more penalties to the person that's committing the theft if they're caught.
Interesting. Homeland Security investigations to establish organized retail. Yeah, it is. Bring together. Wow, they're bringing everyone together. Blame to combating. Yeah. Oh.
The cargo theft.
Yeah, I mean,
crazy, to be honest.
Yeah. There's Creative Federal Coordination Center. Yeah. Well, more power to them. Hopefully they can. I mean, it seems like essentially anything needs to be done because it seems. I feel like every time we talk to people in cargo theft, Paul, I think you've asked a couple people like in rapid fire questions, is it going to be better or worse this year? And everyone's like, oh no, it's just going to keep getting worse. It's Bob, Paul, we can't hear you for some reason, or maybe.
Yeah, there you go. Bob, have you had any loads stolen this year?
No.
No loads stolen? Okay.
No, we had a trailer stolen in California, I think earlier this thing, but honestly, they left everything at a truck stop and that's it because there was nothing that they could resell. It was like totes and big furniture. So it was like the stupidest thing ever. We had to pay some Indian guy because they parked it at his parking spot. And then he was like holding our trailer pretty much there until we pay it. But yeah, so they cut our Samsara tracking and everything like that. But yeah.
Like I've always wondered why aren't there just like a bunch of Apple AirTags like hidden in trailers and stuff? Like
AirTags are not the greatest thing. We have now Samsara has these like smaller tags pretty much that you can hide. So they have one that's like connected with a with the wire, and then they have wireless ones that they have like a 3-year battery thing. And then like everyone's doing that now too. It's like Motive's doing it, and then there were some other ones. Actually, a cool thing that I saw at North Carolina Trucking Association is there. Forgot the name of the company, but they have a tracker inside the taillight.
Okay.
So you install a taillight on the back of the trailer, right? And you don't know that there's a tracker inside, which is
Do you have trackers on all your trailers, Bob?
yeah, every single one.
I feel like a lot of carriers don't do that.
We didn't at first, but then we're like one thing gets stolen, you're pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it seems
know
to
a
me
lot of
like, why
carriers that
wouldn't
actually
you?
have like 2 or 3 trackers on each trailer, so they'll
Yeah.
have different companies
Yeah.
and they'll hide it at different spots, you know, and they'll. I mean, it's expensive, you know. Trailers are expensive, trucks are expensive, so.
I thought it was cool what Wabash was doing, where it was like facial recognition to open the trailer.
Oh, wow.
Because I think they bought or partnered with Trailer Hawk, and then they implemented that, and I saw it at Manifest.
Yeah.
So recognition for trailer to open a
Yeah.
trailer. How does that work?
So you have to do facial recognition to
Hold up.
open the back end.
That doesn't sound.
TrailerHawk.ai. Was this TrailerHawk.ai? Is that
Bob's
part of
like, please do not put that on my trailers.
I mean, it just then imagine like you come to the receiver or something and the shipper, like all these. I don't know about that.
Here, I'm gonna pull it up right now. I think it's a video of it. Is this
Wow.
I think this is it, right?
I mean, I guess it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Oh, it's Cassie. I know her.
Oh, really? Oh, when you were at their booth, didn't you? I think you told me about this at Manifest Read.
I think I did.
Yeah, I think
they have cameras inside the trailers too and stuff like that, which actually makes a lot of sense to me. Bob, would you ever put cameras inside your trailers?
Of course, I would. I would love to have that so I could see what the freight looks like and you know if it's shifted or not. Like today, we had a freaking whole trailer that shifted a freight. So
really,
and it could, because sometimes the shippers loaded up incorrectly and it's not good.
Yeah, and then the trailer's sealed and you can't open it. You have to sit there and wait for permission to break the seal. And I mean, it's just a giant cluster.
Or you get to the receiver says, "Screw this, we're not unloading it. Take it back." And now you miss 3 days. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense why you would want to record.
There's actually a lot of leasing companies that actually have the cameras inside the trailers. Some guy came in. I forgot who he was with because there's a lot of leasing trailer companies that come into the office, and he was telling me that they have cameras inside theirs. I was like, oh, that's actually a pretty sweet feature because it's pretty much like Samsara, right? In Samsara we have the cameras, and here you would have those cameras, so that would work out pretty nice. I just don't know how much extra it would be. But this recognition thing to open the doors, I don't think that makes any sense, to be honest. There's so many moving things with it, unless you're hauling like super expensive cargo or some stuff. But
I think that's the future, honestly.
That and autonomous.
Anyway.
Is autonomous the future?
I think so.
What timeline are you looking at?
I think it's tough. I think it's going to mean you got a manufacturer, you got to create lanes, you got to understand the lanes. But I think when to me, past brokerage is like the hardest thing is convincing a driver to go from point A to point B. So if you can just click a button and a guy goes, okay, cool, I'll go from Laredo, Texas to Milwaukee, Wisconsin with my truck. It's basically like passive income for them. You don't have to convince someone to go there.
Yeah, but I feel like it's going to be hard for that to get past. Like for now, for the foreseeable future, right?
Yeah, I think it's maybe like a 10, 15-year time frame.
This was in our newsletter today. Aurora launched a second-generation driverless truck this week, starting on its Dallas-Houston route. The new hardware is built to last 1 million miles at half the cost of the previous version. So it is getting cheaper because that's also been a problem. It's like how expensive it's been. Let's see here. Yeah.
Yeah, the technology is going to be there to do it before the regulatory environment is ready. You know what I mean? Like I think the tech is probably going to be there probably quickly, but whether from a liability question and the the legality question of it is probably going to be what makes it take longer. If
Bob, what's your take on driverless trucks? Are you bullish on driverless trucks?
Not really, to be honest. But I think it's gonna happen though, because it's obviously happening in Texas, right, where they're running certain lanes. I think certain lanes they will figure it out, but I don't think it's gonna be like a common thing that.
You're not worried about it.
Yeah.
Would you buy an autonomous truck?
I would. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it, I mean,
he needs the Tesla. He needs to buy the. He needs to buy the Tesla.
Once it gets to get that, it'll be pretty much like trains, right? It'll be owned by like 5 major companies, and that's it. There's not going to be space for little guys like me to like own. Oh, let me own a couple autonomous trucks. Like that's not going to happen, to be honest.
You don't think so?
Like robo taxis, if you own I think Tesla came out and said, "Hey, own a robo taxi fleet." You could be like that, and then you could basically what I envision is you would go on DAT or you get a bunch of things sent to you or truck stop, and it would just be like, "Oh, do you want to send your autonomous truck from A to B?" And then you could just sit there at your house and just go click, yep, and just send it. It would just be like passive income.
Nah,
convincing somebody hey, man, you want to miss your daughter's birthday.
There is no such thing as passive income. Just remember.
Well, I guess I'm going to stop looking for it then. I mean, it is to Bob's point about only big companies being able to do it. It's like you are going to need, at least to get it off the ground in the beginning, you're definitely going to need infrastructure to support it, right? Like you will need people who are able to go to it if needed, right? Like if something happens and it's stuck on the side of the road, you still need to go get it, right?
Yeah.
And you're probably going to need
contracts where, for example, like Love's, right? They have where they could fix trucks. So you sign a contract with them.
Roadside. So there's a roadside service where some guy will go pick up your stuck truck.
Yeah. They'll have certain contracts signed with certain vendors, and they'll take care of all of that. But I honestly think that there will not be space for little guys like us to run that. Once that actually happens, it will be big companies that are just doing that.
I can see that point of view. I mean, it's gonna be difficult to compete against them in a way.
100%.
Right?
They'll raise millions of dollars. They'll run the market down to the ground, right? Well, they'll haul super cheap where their profit margins are super low or even at a loss,
they're able to they're just going to have a lower cost basis. They'll be able to operate cheaper in theory.
To get the market. Once they gain the market, then they could raise it, but then you won't be able to enter into that market.
And the truck could essentially run 24 hours.
Yeah.
You have to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a structural advantage for sure. If it all works, obviously, if it all works.
So if that happens though, let's say there's autonomous trucks on the road, do brokers still exist?
I mean, if we just take the scenario Bob just explained, where there's only a couple large companies that have all of this equipment, then and they run the majority of freight. These are huge assumptions, obviously. The world, I don't actually see it. But the only reason brokers exist is because there's such a fragmentation on the capacity side of things, right? If there's only 5 companies, then you don't need brokers anymore. You know who does
exactly. You'll go on.
Who does.
It's going to be kind of like Uber Freight. You'll go post your load on there, and then it'll be like, okay, this autonomous truck can take it, or we have this many autonomous trucks. It'll see what the market rate is, book it, and that's it. And it'll be off.
You know what's interesting to think about though is from your perspective, Bob, that sucks because it means rates going down and you go out of business. But from the perspective of the American economy, isn't it wouldn't it be good for the American economy for transportation to be really, really, really cheap? Isn't that the dream for the economy? Is it not?
On the side though, think of how many jobs that would cause.
Yeah.
How
many jobs would it be out? And then I guess if that would be the reason for it, imagine think about it right now, the government just got rid of all the non-domicile CDLs basically. So if they were thinking about the economy in that angle, then they wouldn't have gotten rid of gotten rid of the non-domiciled CDLs, right? But then there's also, I don't know, this is more complex than I could get into specifically. But I think it would be good for some parties for sure. But a lot of people would lose their job. And like, what would we do? Like, let's just say all of a sudden, like what are we going to be up to then? Like, I guess truck parking.
Can we make like an autonomous freight meme company? Like, is that a thing?
Well, like Reed, for example, like if there's 5 big fleets that run autonomous trucks, like is truck parking club? I guess truck parking club get acquired by them, right? Like, hey, we need the space.
I mean, you still need to like. One thing that's easy to forget about is trailers. There's many, many, many more trailers than there are trucks, and trailers all sit places a lot of the time, right?
But you don't think that eventually the autonomous, it'll be just an autonomous trailer, not a truck, right? Because all they need to do
it might take that form.
Equation and just put a couple more wheels on the trailer, and that's it. It's a moving freaking trailer.
Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. But no, I mean, dude, I have no idea. I can spin a web to argue that it would you still need a network of places to stage equipment, and if anything, you need a more reliable and predictable network, right? Like an autonomous trucking company that knows they need to park a truck in X city on tomorrow, like they could crapshoot it and not have the certainty of knowing and go to like a public area, or they can like book a space they know they're going to get.
Why would they need to park it if the truck can run 24/7?
Maybe they need to park it and it needs to wait 2 hours to go pick up a load that's not ready yet, right? Like there's all sorts of scenarios we could come up with. It's not going to be perfectly 24 hours. Every single trailer is all of a sudden moving 24 hours. Like it's not going to be like that, right? Like. But anyway,
I think even if that does happen, right, it's going to be the big shippers, big receivers that can handle that. All the small ones, bro, I don't think that's going to happen where they're pulling up to my facility.
Probably not. Probably not. But guys, all right, we gotta switch gears here. So we're gonna Robert, thanks for coming on. Bob, thanks for being our special guest, bro.
Anytime.
See you guys.
All right, see you
later. Yeah.
Good morning, guys.
Andrew.
Hey, Andrew. Good morning.
What's up? What's up, brother? Long time no see. How you doing?
Yeah, it's been a while. How you doing, Reed?
Good morning, Andrew.
Good. Paul, you're overseas, right?
Yeah, I'm in Poland right now, so
nice.
Quite far. We met once at Manifest. I'm not sure if you remember, just for a few minutes.
We were walking to from hotel to one casino to the other, right?
Yeah, we were trying to figure out where Manifest was. This was like the first one. I think this was 2022.
Yeah.
Maybe 2023. Sorry. So yeah.
I think we walked like 2 or 3 casino floors that day trying to find it.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, Andrew, I mean, you've obviously done a lot. Global Trans, Emerge, like you have a great story. I guess it'd be great just to hear your like quick intro. What would you give to the people that are listening here?
Well, I started I first joined the Navy. I didn't have the credentials to go to college. My high school degree wasn't my GPA wasn't good enough to even get into community college. I mean, put it that way. So I went to the Navy, did 5 years, and I did 5 years there. I got called back after September 11th. The bombs after the I just got out of the Navy, and they called back everybody that just got out like a month before. Like, and I was doing a guard duty in San Diego for about a year. And my dad was a freight forwarder at the time, so that's how I learned about the industry. And when I got out, I was going to work for him. And my last year in the Navy, I didn't really. I said to myself, I don't have a college degree. I better do something. So I read a bunch of business books. I went to Barnes and Noble at the time and pretty much read every business book I could get my hands on, and then read some really good books like Think and Grow Rich, which really propelled my gave me a new way to think about how to. You don't have to go to college, get a degree, and make money in this world. You could do it. There's another way to do it. Mm-hmm. And when I worked for my dad, he was a freight forwarder, like a mom and pop shop, and just him working out of his house. He was he was one of the first Pilot Air Freight franchise owners. You guys heard of Pilot Air Freight? Mm-hmm. And then he lost a lot of his business. He sold his franchise, and then a few years back, and then he was just working out of his house when I worked for him. And I heard you guys just discussing, what's going to happen trucking if there's like only a few players. Like let's say there's autonomous trucking and there's only about 10 players, 20 players, who knows at that point. Are there brokers? Do brokers exist? And that's when my first company actually existed, because LTL, that's what I found out when I worked for my dad. LTL was an unmet need. There was companies like Travelocity and Priceline were doing what they're doing for planes. I was like, why don't we do this for trucks?
You mean there was an unmet need in the LTL space, and brokers could fill that need essentially, right?
Yeah, there was shippers were just starting to. There was this company called FreightQuote.com that for the first guys that really started doing LTL brokerage, and there's about 80 LTL carriers, but about 12 of them really are the biggest and really control the market, 10 to 12. And they were the first ones to kind of create Travelocity or Priceline for LTL. And if you think about it, LTL shippers, local guys didn't know there was, you should have a national and a regional, and maybe throw in a Roadrunner, a consolidator in there, like that consolidates freight. And that's what really, we met that need. We gave, a pricing engine that showed all the carriers pricing, and that's where I got my idea. I worked for my dad after I got out of the Navy, and Global Trans came off this idea. Like I saw, FreightQuote took one of his accounts, and I was like, this is the future. No one's doing this for trucking. So you just need, and I remember when we were trying to think about going into truckload, like let's say parcel. There's no such thing as parcel brokers, because there's 3 players max. And that never exists, and you don't need it. But when you have more than, I say, 10 players, and a lot of them have different uses and different needs as a carrier, which the LTL carriers do. Some want long haul, some want heavy freight, some want partials. There's a need for brokers. And the broker we know today is not going to exist. I would say if it went down to 2 companies controlling the whole market, let's just say Tesla and maybe someone, but that will never happen, because we all know that every market, every lane is so different. You need a different supply of carriers for a shipper's always going to need a certain carrier for short haul.
Yeah, the market demands differentiation amongst the operators, right? Just because of how varied the job is, right? And how different, different types of freight are. I mean, it makes sense, but your point is interesting, and it's good you were listening before, because you framed why why Global Trans existed pretty well, right? Like 80 LTL carriers, they all have different capabilities. They all have different freight needs. They all operate in different areas, and they all have different specialties. Were you seeing that most shippers at the time were really only working with like 1 or 2? Like, was that kind of the state of LTL, or working with a broker just allowed them to compare the pricing and find and discover the capabilities of different players easier?
Back in the day, it was one LTL carrier. That's why when I first got in, Yellow Freight was massive, and they had. I remember going to their first convention in 2006 that I went to, and it was massive. It was in Vegas. It was at the height of their popularity when they just they just made a bunch of acquisitions, Roadway, USF. They combined this massive massive trucking company, LTL trucking company, and their whole thesis was, well, we would have one sales rep. They wine and dine all the shippers, and typically a shipper would give most of their freight to 1 carrier, 2 carriers. And they're always used to that from days of regulation. They would just always give their freight to 1 carrier. When we came about, we're like, no, look at this platform. You could actually see there's, maybe Yellow Freight's perfect for this lane, but they're not perfect for that long haul freight that, this carrier.
Were the LTL carriers like upset by this?
At first, yeah. I remember 3PLs, I remember the first, because we're one of the first ones. It was us, FreightQuote, and then Unishippers were the only LTL, and then C.H. Robinson had LTL brokers at the time too. Yeah, they're actually the biggest, but they were really their systems really didn't come like where you could see like kind of like an online Priceline.com for trucking. That was really mainly FreightQuote, us, and Unishippers for LTL. And the LTL shippers we gave them a product that they were like, well, I remember they were blown away by it, but the carriers were I remember one carrier said, because like when you go to Priceline, you see the logo of United. And we were one of the first ones to put, us and FreightQuote were the first ones to put the logo of Saia and Old Dominion. And I remember someone from Estes calling me up and he said, in a southern accent. He says, "Boy, you better get my damn logo off your site right now." I don't know who it was, some higher up in the company. But yeah, we had.
What year is this, Andrew? Like around what year?
2006, 2000. I started 2005, so it took me about a year to build up.
But you needed. I mean, next to the logo was the rate, right? Like you had to go to the LTL carriers and get them to give you, pricing on your system, right? Like you couldn't just do that without their involvement.
It's quite complicated with LTL.
Oh yeah, we could. Yeah, but here's the thing. Back then, it was very easy to slip through a national tariff. That's what we would do. We'd get, hey, we need a national tariff. We're based in Phoenix, and we need to ship everywhere. And the local rep would push that through because they would be like, there was not, they didn't know they didn't know the main purpose of this tariff was to go online and we were going to resell it. That's where they had a problem. Yeah. And again, it was like, that higher up was like, well, there must have been internal discussion. We turn this off. It's like one of our fast growing accounts.
So from their perspective, they just had the one. They just saw this one shipper in Arizona. One shipper in Arizona was just moving a ton of volume, kind of out of nowhere.
I mean, it was a broker technically, right?
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
I mean,
I
remember,
but it took a while probably 5-6 years before I would actually go to a SMC3 conference. You guys know the big LTL tech conference, and where carriers would actually shake my hand and we'll meet with the 3PL. Back then, it was such a hateful relationship between the LTL. We would get turned off all the time from LTL carriers. Luckily, again, there was always enough. If we lost a national, we'd find another national. But I would remember when we lost like a big carrier or something like that happened, I expected the shippers just to leave. And the next day I saw the revenue. I was like, wait, they're fine moving to that other LTL carrier, I guess. But it's so yeah, we just we had to play that game for a long time. And then now it's like 30%, 40% of the LTL industry, which is back when I started, it was maybe 5, and that was only direct pricing with the carrier for a specific shipper, like the managed trans guys.
Sure.
But now blankets are big portion of the LTL spend.
Yeah. I remember when I was first starting out as a broker, well, technically my second job, but the first week there, I got to log into Global Trans and I was asked to get some rates because it was a really scrappy small brokerage. And that's when I first was in the portal and kind of realized what it was, and it was really easy to use. This was 2017 though. But so with Global Trans, Andrew, you had the pricing engine for LTL, which was Travelocity, Priceline, but you also had agents that were built across various cities across the US, and some of them have become very successful. If I'm not mistaken, I think was Jet McCandless an agent at Global Trans, or was he working at Global Trans? And I know there's Charlie Dehoney, I think, came from Global Trans. There's a lot of individuals that came out of it. I'm just curious if you could speak about that for a little bit.
Yeah, so Jet, he was my yellow freight rep here in Phoenix when I first started. So I would go to him and ask for the tariff. Hey, can you give me a tariff? And then one day I said to him, how big is your book of business? He was my local rep. So and he, he was selling locally. And I said to him, I said, Jet, how much do you bring in a year for yellow? And he showed me, it was $5 million a year in revenue. And I showed him my system. I said, Jet, if you bring, how much of your shippers do you think would want to use this? And when he saw the system, and he's like, whoa, that, I never, he was used to his shippers just getting a bunch of handwritten, bill latings. He would bring them to him, and they would be in the warehouse just signing these out to Yellow Freight all day long, all their LTL. And when he saw that, he's like, I could probably bring 30% of my shippers onto this. And when he found out, the LTL margins back then were 20%, 25%, about 25%. So I said, well, that would bring in that'd be $400,000 of profit, margin, for $500,000 of margin right there. And I said, shoot, I'd be willing to give you half of that. And that's how the whole agent idea came out. Became an employee, because he was so good. I saw that. So I gave him founder shares, and he came on with us for a while.
And so basically the agent model is a consequence of just how LTL was, how LTL worked. And so he basically just had the ability to go and provide a much better kind of value prop for the sales rep. like they would make more money. They on the same book of business essentially.
Right. I said to him, I said, would you be willing to take this? How many of your shippers would sign up? He said almost, half of them would do it. It ended up being like pretty much, and so when I made that decision then, and I couldn't raise money back then. There's no venture capital for anybody in 2007 in freight. It just didn't exist. I tried, but it didn't work. I tried to raise money. I went to Sequoia. They were like, they laughed at, one of the guys fell asleep at the meeting. So I left, I didn't have luck with venture capitalists in the beginning. So I was like, there's got to be a better way. And that's where I was like, wait, if I bring on a rep from a trucking company, they bring in their book of business. And that's how we created the agent model for LTL. Was we knew the carriers that wouldn't do business with us. There's a few of them, and that's who we went after. And we had to pick our, they ended up bringing their business in, and that created hundreds of companies. Just a bunch of agents came out of that that are still operating today. But yeah, that's how we started with no money. Is we just had to be creative and figure it out. And the agent model is perfect because no one cares more about their customer than an agent. They own their business.
I think it's really cool how you like connected those dots and were able to see like, hey, there's this price line in Travelocity. We could bring in this into LTL. And I think like in some regard, it's like people have taken that concept and try to apply it to logistics, taking it from other industries, and it doesn't always work. But here it was like a perfect fit. And so now, Andrew, since you're at Emerge, I'm kind of wondering like what your thought process was there, and maybe if you could tell us a little bit about like the story of transitioning from Global Trans to Emerge, and like why this project now.
Oh, so it actually came out of an idea of, so I'm at Global Trans about 2011, and truckload just started really taking off for brokers. Like before then, it was just really CH and a few other major brokers and all these mom and pop guys. But then all of a sudden, Coyote springs up and all these companies. And I was like, okay, this is what we have to do next at Global Trans. And my agents were screaming. We had about 500 agents at the time. They were saying, where's our truckload? So I was like, okay, let's do this. And when I started figuring out how truckload works, so LTL is pretty awesome. You go as far as digitization, you can digitize LTL way easier. There's a rate. You have a rate from the carrier. They can give you the rates. You can upload those rates. You could tender, you could EDI them, and it was very automated. And when I got into truckload, I realized, wow, the Coyote model, which are hundreds of kids on the phone calling carriers all day, asking where you're at, that model is the only model that works for truckload. And that's where I was like, that's why I knew I was like, I got to go there next. And I probably should have waited because back, even today, the carriers still, you can't connect to them and get, 99% of them, you can't connect to them. You can't get a rate. You can't create a priceline.com for truckload. It doesn't, and I thought it would be easier by now, but it's still not, because the carriers, the small mid-sized carriers are the last ones to adopt technology. The fact that they don't have agents answering their phone calls right now blows my mind. But again, they finally are starting to make money. Thank God. Like that's one thing. Carriers are finally starting to make money, so they could. Now's the time they have to start thinking about, how do I automate my trucking company? Because that's why I got into this business with Emerge. Is like I wanted to build what we had for LTL, which is like shipper goes on, they see all the LTL carriers, they click it for truckload, and it doesn't exist in truckload. And back then it didn't, where you could actually. So that's why I created Emerge, so you could actually, and it's somewhat like that now. We allow truckload a shipper to tie in with all their brokers and carriers, and it looks like Priceline.com. If you're a shipper on Emerge, you see all your carriers line up one by one, like from lowest cost transit time to the end. During a truckload bid for Spot, and Spot's being blown up lately. It's double what it was last year. So they see they see it and they click it, but it's still, then that broker then goes and sells it to a carrier. So for the shipper, it looks automated, like it's very much a marketplace. If you ask a shipper, is it easy, to deal with the 100,000, 80,000 for hire trucking companies, which they all do. They do it through brokers. They'll say, yeah, it's easy because I have my broker, broker handles all that. Mm-hmm. So that's where we sit. We sit there with so it is, when you go to Merge like today for a shipper, it very much feels like your own marketplace. Whereas on the other side, that's where the biggest problem is. There's no marketplace for the truckload industry, for the truckers and for the brokers. You still have to call them mainly. You still have to email them. You still have to. Everybody's on. There's still check calls are a major thing in our industry. Even though you should be on ELD if you're a carrier and you should have that data. Why do these exist? It's still massive. Appointment setting. If you're a broker, there's so many, or 3PL, there's so many things that you can't automate because of the carriers have to start stepping up and start investing in these things, and they'll be the last ones to do it. Unfortunately.
I mean, the landscape of freight tech has changed drastically since you started Global Trans in 2005. So you believe that carriers have to step up, that they're the last, like the small to mid-sized carriers are the last ones to kind of adopt this technology. And you're surprised that they're not using agents right now, like AI agents.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So here's the base. I've talked to a lot of carriers, and you guys obviously had a few on. You have a lot of carriers. You talk to them all the time. Think about this. If you ask most carriers, where do they get their freight? They usually have about 10 to 12, 20 broker relationships they're comfortable with. They have DAT open, they have Truckstop, they have TQL, they have CH Robinson, they have all these websites open. But there's still, if you ask any carriers, how many unchecked messages do you get? They'll say, they all have hundreds that they have to get to. Do they post their truck right now? No, you don't post your truck because you're gonna get bogged down. Unless you really need it. But let's say there's a lane that you're like, is a good lane, and you don't post your truck, and you take that first load of the day. That's paying you $2.50 a mile. Ooh, it's good, $2.50. That's way better than I was getting last year. Don't you think that if you had a perfect agent handling all that, or some technology that would handle that for you, the dispatcher, and I'm not saying this should replace you as a dispatcher, because I'm saying spend $200 a month on an agent if you're a dispatcher. And then, because think about this, you won't imagine you post that truck. Don't you guys know, like, the rates are all across the board.
Yeah.
I guarantee
you're going to see way more freight
10% if you had efficient booking. And I think it's crazy that the carriers aren't thinking this way yet. I wish I could just, you could talk to all 80,000 prior truck companies, the owners, and say, why aren't you doing this? You're not posting. There's always a 10% better paying load if you just be patient. And actually, I'm being generous. I guarantee if we did this, we'd find a $2,000 load that they could have get 2,400 if they would have had efficient sourcing.
Basically, the idea is if they're manually calling loads and they call 5 loads, your point is if they had posted their truck and had an agent field all of the inbound, they would see, many, 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 many more loads, and that would just, odds are they would end up capturing an opportunity that they otherwise wouldn't have gotten. That's going to pay them X% more. They're going to make up their $200 a month agent cost. It could be in one load, really.
Right. Well, here's
but they don't
understand. I see it all day long because we have all these shippers in our platform. We have Emerge has $15 billion of freight moving through our platform, $4 billion of which is a spot. And if you do a spot bid, first of all, there's always 10 at least, every shipper has at least 10 bids coming in from brokers. They don't always choose the cheapest broker. Okay. Number one. So they don't always, and that's not like 10%, it's like 20. They don't always, you got to be close to the lowest, but if it's extra $50, $100, they might choose you. They like to spread their freight around. Every shipper a lot of shippers have the rule they don't give more than 10% of their freight to one broker, which is I think that's it's a good thing. And it's a good thing for carriers too, because again, that same load you might have gotten from broker A yesterday, but that broker B that you don't deal with wins it tomorrow at $200 more. There's a good chance that brokers, they just want to make their 10 to 15%. That load's paying more because another broker bought it, but you're not dealing with that broker. You're not going to that site. I'm telling you, it's crazy. I guarantee, if you had the perfect sourcing model if you're a carrier, you can increase your at least, and I'm just 10%, I would say is guaranteed. I think it'd be more like 20% if you really worked it right, because they don't understand, the rates are so across the board on every single load. And one broker might bid 2,000, whereas C.H. Robinson might be $500 more, but it might be the opposite on the next lane. And it doesn't matter if C.H. Robinson is the biggest, because some lanes, some people just have better knowledge of that lane than them. So it's like, but you're not dealing with them. You're not posting that truck. They never, unless they don't have a carrier sales rep to call you. And they have an AI agent trying to call you, but you won't, you don't have time to even pick up that phone.
Yeah.
So it's like, to me, that is the number one thing. If I could just get that word out somehow to carriers, and it's not expensive, and it should be the dispatcher doing this to enhance their job. The dispatcher should be paying, because it's not going to cost them $500. It's going to cost hundreds of dollars, a month. But one load pays for it. One load.
Well,
do you have the first load that you did perfect sourcing for?
Is there like a preferred, or do you have like a preferred maybe like app or agent that carriers should use? Because I see a lot of AI agent companies for brokers, but there's fewer for carriers. I feel like maybe at least I don't pay attention that much to them. And from my understanding, it seems like a lot of carriers are just kind of annoyed by them, where it's like it's a little bit too much work to get them up and running, and they feel like they could do it quicker themselves. So I'm kind of curious, Andrew, if you do have any recommendations like for companies that you think might be like a good startup dispatcher agent. Yeah,
well, so I involved in one called CloneOps. I have to obviously plug Dave Bell and his team there. They're really good. You can't go with the bigger guys like Happy Robot are good, but they're going to be more for enterprise size. How I see them. And then, I have one of my guys, Kyle Jepson, just left Merge, and he started a company called Felix AI, which I'm going to get involved with. So it's felixai.com.
Okay.
And then, but it's really, honestly, it's like, it's just do it. Just find an AI provider. Make sure you're paying, maybe get a couple quotes, and then just get an AI agent picking up your phone, sourcing your trucks, or taking the check calls. First of all, that should be number one. Now you're able to post your truck. If you post your truck and you don't get 1,000 phone calls, and it all just goes to an AI agent, and then you just see all your rates just popping up, why not do that? It could be done right now, like within minutes. Right. You could test it out for $10 for the first day and see if it works. I mean, it's like, why not try it? The problem is a lot of carriers don't really keep themselves up to date as far as technology. That's for sure. But yeah, if you're a trucking company, you should be comfortable willing to work with everybody in the market. Obviously, have a great vetting, But if a company's been around for 3 years and they have a name, why not work with them?
Sure.
Again, they might have that same load that you moved yesterday for paying more, and then you can't do this with your current dispatcher force. That's why these dispatchers are overworked today. I'm not saying the dispatchers are bad. It's just they can't post a truck and field 100 calls on a hot lane. So they could let a bot pick it up, take all the rates in, and then populate a screen.
Yeah, your message to carriers is like plug into the matrix, basically. See all of the options, essentially. Like every truck you don't post are loads that you don't know about that you might want. And if you can get access to all of those loads without having to answer any more phone calls, why would you not do that?
It blows my mind, because here's the thing: they don't really know that this is available. Let's be honest, they don't know. But there's companies that have tied into your major load boards, and you could pull that information in and have an AI, instead of the brokers calling you on the post, they're calling an AI agent. And the AI agent's been populating those rates for you, so you could sift through the 100 quotes and find, here's one extra. Here's one's paying $300, and have the agent call and ask if that could pick up 11 tomorrow. Maybe you saw 3 loads. Agent, call those 3 carriers, or 3 brokers to see if this could pick up at 11 a.m. tomorrow. That's fine.
It's interesting to compare and contrast. It's interesting to compare and contrast LTL to truckload, because obviously your idea was let's do what LTL let's do what we did to LTL but for truckload. Basically plug it all in. But problem, 900,000 carriers don't publish rates and connect into this ecosystem, so I can't really serve this Priceline like experience without their participation, right? It's difficult. And obviously the nature of truckload is there's no tariffs, right? There's no like, oh, this is our rate on this lane. Like most carriers don't have a notion of like, oh, this is my rate from California to North Carolina or from Illinois to Texas. Most carriers don't have that, right? And so there's also, and we're essentially kind of reconstructing that idea by just having everyone call each other, right? It's almost like it's like kind of jerry rigging the same LTL system, but gathering the information in a different way because we know all carriers aren't going to go and publish their rates like that. It's an interesting.
How this industry would be so much easier and so much more efficient if, especially from the broker 3PL side and the carrier side, if they just got rid of the check call, a person answering for check calls, and the brokers are going to call you, and they're using agents to call you. It's like you're picking up, you're spending money 8 to 10 times more than they are on that same call. And
because you have a human answering it, you mean?
Yes, but I'm not saying get rid of you as a dispatcher. I'm saying dispatcher, pay extra $200. If you make $200 more in commission, I guarantee you'll make $200 more in commission. You do this, it'll make your life easier. And first of all, it's not like you're replacing yourself with bots. There always will be someone that manages the bots. And, we're years away from us not having to manage. Like that's going to be one of the biggest jobs at any companies. And that's what every manager should strive to be at a company is someone, I'm going to be the person that has my human cap, the people we're going to need for the calls that we need that for, which are, relationships, with your shipper or customer. That is needed with us as people. But the check calls, when a bot, if I'm answering the phone and negotiating with a bot and talking to a bot, you should ask yourself, why am I not paying for my own bot for this task?
Yeah.
So that's right. And I think to get this going is so inexpensive. You don't have to sign up. You could probably spend $30 and test it out. And like I said, there's a few companies that, and I'll send the links of the ones I think that could do this well.
For sure.
Because it's so important that, the industry moves, that's the brokers and the 3PLs and the major enterprise carriers are going to, which if you're a mid-sized carrier, small carrier, that should scare you. They're going to be the first ones to adopt all these technologies. So it's about, every carrier should be really thinking about this right now, and it's not expensive. And that I guarantee that 1 or 2 loads will pay for that AI for the whole month.
For sure. I agree with that. We are up on time, Andrew, unfortunately. 30 minutes flew by. I guess just to close it out, I'm wondering if you could kind of quickly give us your viewpoint of how freight tech has progressed over the last 20 years and kind of what your predictions are, I guess, moving forward. Doesn't have to be a long answer, just so we could. I'm just curious. I was meaning to ask you this. I know we're up on time, so we don't have that much time to ask.
Freight, building a team, if you're a SaaS-based provider, I remember when I first started Emerge, we were SaaS. We weren't SaaS. We were 100% marketplace, and we still are mainly marketplace today. Meaning we make money. We don't make money by charging you. We give you a technology, but just like I was never used to charging for my technology. It was always what's in the technology, the data of what we're doing inside of it. And I remember when investors just got so mad at me about the SaaS, I don't have SaaS and that we're not SaaS and we're market, they'd rather invest in SaaS. But I think that is where it's really changing. I think now it's if you're a software technology company, you have to be different than SaaS. You have to have another reason, Reed, your company obviously is not, don't charge for your $30 a month.
Yeah, it's usage based is what you mean. Switching more to the usage based.
So if you're a SaaS company, you should be thinking about, I need to move to usage based because 10 years from now, that SaaS bill is going to be laughed at. Maybe longer than that, but it's eventually not going to be something that I pay for like a software as a service. I'm paying a subscription. I think there'll be some cases, but majority of our business, tech businesses will be in some kind of transactional form. And so I think that's where the big change is happening right now and you used to be able to sell yourself on a feature. We have this feature better. You can't do that anymore as a technology play because that feature could be developed so quickly by your competitor that doesn't really matter anymore. Whereas before, you could almost, if I had a new feature at Global Trends, I would brag about it because it would take a year before my competitor would have that if they did try to do it. So, I think that is what's changing big time is, and the right company, if you're starting a company, I think it's the best time ever. The best time ever to start a company is today. I never could have dreamed of a time when it's like, you don't need $20 million to, like, every platform I built costs in the long run, like at least $5 million to get going. Even at Global Trends, when I first started with no money, and I explained my story a few times in other podcasts, is, it took me 2 or 3 years to invest in it before I got it built. But that time to build a product is like cut down to months. So, and if you're doing it right, you need 1 or 2 people. That's it. And your whole tech team to start, to at least get your product going. And that is so crazy to me. The only, the downside is that anyone can do it. It's so, like, you can't just build something and go, wow, look what I have, because in 5 minutes someone can create that. So you better have some other data play or something around it, in my opinion, that really makes it valuable, or more valuable, because it's your tech is not your mode anymore. It's really your data and who you're connected to. So I think that today's the best time ever to try that, to start something. It's really exciting. And I think if you're thinking about becoming a founder, where it used to take 20 million of revenue just to break even as a tech company, 20 million of AR, you can do that with 5 million now. So yeah, I think we're in some amazing times. It's scary too, like what's going to happen. Are the jobs all going to disappear? Which I don't believe it will. I think instead, like if I had to merge with we have 150 people right now. If we had 50 people, we would probably still have 150 people. Those 150 people will be salespeople, like doing other things. And so I don't think that we're going to lose, I don't think there's going to be a massive job loss. So I think it's the greatest time ever to be in business. So thank you guys for your time.
Yeah, that's a good message to end on, Andrew. We appreciate you coming on, man. It's it's good to see you. We'll have you back for an update here soon. Thanks, man. Have a good day.
Thanks. See ya.
See ya.
Oops. Sorry to keep. There we go.
Cool. Well,
yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, I mean that's a good story. Good one to end on.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. What a good Freight Gong Friday, and thank God it's Friday, right?
Thank God.
TGIF.
It's Friday. All right, brother.
Have a wonderful weekend, Reed, and to all of our listeners, thanks for tuning in. And we'll be back. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
There we go.
For another episode of Freight Gong Friday. Take care, everyone.
Yeah.
See ya.
Are you drowning in invoice chaos? Stop digging through inbox threads and email attachments to piece together your AP process. Epay Manager centralizes invoicing, document audit, and payments in one controlled system. Enjoy more clarity and less chaos with Epay Manager. Learn more by going to epaymanager.com.